everyone, Official Guy Reviews back with you one more time. Just wanted to take a fresh start on the 2021 year, and I wanted to get a video out for you guys, get things rolling. I've been away for a little bit with the holidays and New Year's and everything, and it's been hectic as it is, but I hope you all have been good, and I hope everything is going well for you and your families. So basically the thing I wanted to take a look at today is through the holiday season, my computer managed to kick the bucket. So we got to the point where it was just restarting, things weren't working. If you remember, I have an Alienware X51 R2, if you want to look it up. It's like little guy. I mean, you have the mini ITX cases and the medium. This thing is like so small. And I'm a tech nerd. I like to play games. I like to troubleshoot things. But the one thing I will say is I don't build PCs by myself. It's just not something I've ever really done, and I don't claim to have any professional skills in it. That being said, I did figure out a little this and that, get the video card, make sure everything's properly mounted on my previous computer, and it wasn't working. It was getting long in the tooth anyways. Of 2014 computer, it had a 760 Ti in it, so it was well due to break down, and honestly it's done me well, so I can't complain too much. But that put me on the research trail, and as you know, when we go down that rabbit hole, we check through absolutely everything to try and find the best bargain we can. And for me, I was looking for something that wasn't specifically too expensive. I don't have a ton of money. Obviously, times are tough right now with the pandemic and everything. So my wife said, she signed off on it. Gotta love her. She gave me the go-ahead to find something to get as a Christmas gift, almost for myself, really. And I was looking for something in the 1,000 range, 1,200 range. That's Canadian, keep in mind. And seeing what I could come up with. What I ended up kind of digging through is there seems to be a big split here. Like, the default answer is just build your own PC. Build your own PC. It's the cheapest way to do it. You go to PC Part Picker. You start lining things up. And then you start to realize something that I caught on to pretty quick. A, I already don't really know how to build a PC. B, in Canada especially, but obviously stateside as well, the availability of video cards right now is really rough. Despite the 30 series coming out, the new series from AMD and all that. Also, it's so hard to get a hold of. Then you're buying scalper cards and they're just marked up through the roof. So then I thought, you know what, let's look at Prebuilt. I've always kind of bought an Alienware or Dell or whatever. That's just kind of what I've always been comfortable with, just because it's all I knew, really. This time I said, you know what, I'll take a look at them, but if they're not putting their best foot forward, then I'm not going that route anymore. If you guys take a look at it, honestly, I know I'm just a no-name YouTube channel that nobody really knows is out there, and he's gigantic, but Linus Tech Tips did like one of the coolest video series I've ever seen. It's his second run of it where he does Mystery Shopper for 2020, where he gets a hold of a lot of the pre-built companies that you run into, the HP, the Alienware, and kind of does a full mystery shop with one of his staff members that isn't super techie and in-depth on functions and capabilities. She just gives a very basic overview of what she's looking for, and then they kind of give her an idea of what to buy. So it's actually a really cool series. Definitely check it out if you haven't, but I watched all the way through that, and honestly I had very similar experiences with Dell and Alienware myself, constantly being pushed to upsell things, warranty, finance. It's just so frustrating. So for me, I just wanted best bang for my buck, Canadian side of the border, which means I really got to be cautious of customs and duty because it can get expensive, and I'll kind of go over that as we come forward here. So as far as games that I play, I generally look at, I'm not a crazy hardcore gamer with crazy high-end graphics games. You know, I'm playing World of Warcraft, some Dead by Daylight, some Call of Duty Warzone, Overwatch, League of Legends. That's about it. I mean, my old 760 Ti was playing most of those things except Warzone was brutal. But it would play them on like really low graphics settings, and sometimes the FPS wouldn't be the greatest. That being said, here we go. The first consideration in my research trail was obviously, like I just said, shipping, duty, customs. How much is it going to cost me? How much of a pain in the butt is it going to be? Am I going to get destroyed on things? And honestly, when you're running through in Canada, you do some reading. Some companies say, oh, well, you're probably fine. Some companies say literally like a lot for up to 20% additional on top of whatever you buy, which obviously if I'm looking for like a budget gaming PC, that's not what I'm looking to add on to the fact that I'm already getting killed because I'm paying in Canadian dollars. I'm already getting killed because generally we have less options to buy from here because a lot of Canadians avoid the companies that are going to have those shipping, duty, and customs as a question mark. The other thing is, if you're not familiar with duty and customs, there's sometimes a chance you pay it and sometimes a chance you don't. And when funds are tight and I need something, I can't roll that dice. So it just wasn't an option for some of the companies, and you'll see what I mean coming up. So basically, I'm going to kind of switch over for you guys as a little picture-in-picture here for you. Kind of do a little roll through on the browser here. So for me, I started out with Alienware. That's where I began my journey, seeing how things stacked up with the desktop. I'm obviously not looking for a laptop. I'm looking to replace my desktop computer. And Alienware was okay. It was, it was going to push me into the 1400 range. I was looking at something that was like a 1660 Super would be great. A 2060 would be amazing, but it seemed like I was maybe going to get stuck on like a 1660 Super or something of that nature to fit a reasonable budget. So I checked out Alienware. They were okay. They just didn't quite get to where I was hoping to get. Next up, we had the HP Omen, which actually is a really well-reviewed series lately, especially the newer stuff. You've got your 30Ls and your 25Ls. That new series does well. Even the older series did really well, and if you watch the Linus Tech Tips video, he actually, HP holds up fairly well. They just limited themselves in a couple silly ways, to be honest. That being said, I went through, these are American prices. This is the other problem when you're Canadian that you guys south of the border don't have to worry about watching for all the time. You got to always be watching if it's in CAD or USD. You could go down this little rabbit hole and find out that you've been building a PC that's in US dollars the whole time, and you're done. It's out of budget, no chance. So these here, it was okay. I mean, it was pushing me probably a little bit higher premium wise to like 1600 for a 1660 or maybe a 2060, but it just didn't quite line up for me. Next up, you have the two. I kind of grouped these two together because they're huge companies now, both of them. If you watch any streams or anything, you're going to see that they're pretty much sponsored all over the place. You have your CyberpowerPC and you've got your iBuypower. Both of which generally price in USD. They ship from the United States, which is all well and good, but the problem is I've read a whole bunch of forums through where some Canadians have been nailed for upwards of 20%, and I just can't justify it. If it's already going to come in maybe slightly ahead, I will say the prices pretty much win on these two. I think CyberPower was very slightly ahead, but they're very close. But with the risk and the dice roll of having to deal with potentially shipping charges or duty or customs, I just couldn't justify it, and I didn't want to buy a question mark. So they automatically got eliminated. However, if you are in the States, they're great options. Honestly, that's probably where I'd start first if I didn't have to worry about that duty customs side of things. And they're great looking PCs, right? So next up, one that actually shocked me that kind of almost rose to the top of the list because I could get a 2060, but it would push into the 1450, 1500 range, was Costco. So Costco, I never really thought I would consider, but I had some gift cards and I thought, maybe they got something that I could even upgrade and still make sense of. They don't have it on the site now, but they did have a PC coming mid-December that I had looked at that gave a 2060 Super, 500 gig SSD, nothing super crazy, a decent i5, and it would be running right around 1450, 1500. Not too bad, and that's Canadian. Obviously, I wouldn't have to pay shipping with Costco because it's on the Canadian side of the border too. I wouldn't have to worry about warranty because Costco has a great warranty program as far as they go. Whether you buy it, it's super cheap compared to other places, or it generally extends the manufacturer's warranty too. So one to consider if you're Canadian and you're kind of looking, they may honestly surprise you. Now, it wasn't one I could pick up in store. They do have ones in store, but it was one they had to ship directly to you. But shipping times were decent and it was free. So just a consideration. Next up, You've got your Canada computer. So it says it in the title. Obviously, this isn't speaking to you guys down in the States, but for you Canadians who are here, like, man, I cannot find a video that will help answer my question on the best bang for my buck without spending $2,500 on a gaming PC. Canada Computers is amazing. However, I will say, in watching the last year or two, the thing you got to do with Canada Computers, I've already kind of pre-done it here. You can see they're the first three here. Is when you go to the website, don't click like desktop gaming PC, blah, blah, blah. Go up to your search and type in Apex, like Apex Legends, like APEX, and you will find 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 gaming PCs that they build through Canada Computers, as far as I know, and they're actually almost always an amazing deal. And they may only have a few available here, there, and everywhere throughout Canada, but the shipping to store is typically free, and then you can just pick it up curbside right now, or when they're open. And like, for example, like this one here, on this side, you've got a 2060 with a Ryzen 5 3600 and 500 gigs SSD. It's got RGB build. It's got the case. $1299.88. That's Canadian. That's Canadian. So always check out Canada Computers if you're looking. Type in Apex. It's their own little line. But I find often if I go through desktop, gaming PCs, blah, 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 they don't show up for some reason. I don't know whether it's just because they know they have limited stock available. But you can find some solid deals. You'll also notice sometimes the most expensive one isn't even the best one. You got to keep an eye on it. Sometimes the previous, so you have like A222 here, A219. Well, don't think of those as a series where the older ones are going to be worse, the lower numbers are going to be worse. It's not always the case. And I've found a few in here where it's just absolutely ridiculous deals in the past year when my computer was still working and I wasn't looking. So that is a definite consideration. Canada Computers, and then you search Apex in the search and you'll get usually 2, 3, 4, 5 to choose from. Last but not least in my adventures here, for the ones I didn't end up going with, is Memory Express. They're pretty solid if you're Canadian. There's there's quite a few around. I'm in Ontario, so this here is a perfect example. You're $13.99.99, not too bad, little more than Canada Computers, but you're getting a Ryzen 5 3600, 500 gig SSD, plus you get the 1 terabyte hard drive and a 2060, and they give you a gaming keyboard and mouse. Not too bad. It's a CyberpowerPC, so you'll see that a lot, obviously, in Canada is resellers or middlemen for CyberpowerPC, iBuypower, but not a bad PC price for the money, and then you get it without having to worry about that question mark of duty or customs. You're good to go. So definitely check out Memory Express, a good, solid option. Last but not least, where did we end? We ended in a weird one. I didn't expect to end here. I honestly didn't even know they had a gaming line. You hear about the HP Omens, the Alienwares, all the other ones. But I know Lenovo is a huge company. They're one of the biggest, if not the biggest PC companies in the world, but they're known for like their ThinkPads and a lot of their business style applications, which for me, I mean, I'm not looking for that. I hadn't even considered it until I had a buddy of mine actually from stateside saying, hey, did you check out the Legion series? And I said, what? Don't they normally make laptops and like workspace stuff? He said, just check it out. It's super solid. Over I go. What do we have here? It's currently unavailable, but keep an eye. These have been updating. I've seen them come up again and again. I ordered it December 11th. It shipped on the 18th. It arrived earlier than expected. It did ship from the States up, but everything I found and in my personal experience, Lenovo will cover any duty or customs for you as far as I experience. And I've read tons of different people online who've ordered it up to Canada, and it's always been covered. There's never been duty or customs on it. So that was great peace of mind for me. Customer service for Lenovo, not known to be great. Honestly, is what it is. It's just something I kind of accept. It's fine. But check this out. $1219.99. $1219.99. And that's with the coupon code applied. Okay, automatically does the coupon codes. That's Canadian. Free shipping. There's no cost to shipping. Was the same in December when I bought. They price match themselves a lot of the time. So if you order and the price drops while you're waiting, they'll typically price match themselves. At least that's what they did through the whole holiday season. Comes with your regular basic crappy mouse and keyboard. That's fine. But check it out. You've got the same i5 that was in a lot of them. You've got 16 gigs dual channel memory. You've got 512 gig PCIe SSD, which it's an NVMe drive. It's nice and quick. And then you get a 2060. So like, how do you go wrong? $1219.99. And here's the thing. This is the best part about it. So not only is it only $1219.99, free shipping, no duty or customs, it qualifies for Rakuten. If you guys aren't familiar with Rakuten, Rakuten is basically a coupon-style company. It used to be Ebates that you can log into. There's a Chrome extension browser, and it links to a lot of companies. If you buy through the link, then you get cash back through Rakuten. If you don't have it, I definitely recommend it. There's tons of companies it works with. It's a few percent, 1%, 2%, 3%. But it's great. That being said, I think it's currently like 3% or whatever for Lenovo. They fairly regularly double it. So when I bought this, it was 7% cash back on top of the coupon code. So within an hour of me placing my order on Lenovo's website, I already had almost $100 sitting in my Rakuten account. It's absolutely unbelievable that it's stacked, and I still got their coupon code and free shipping. So you're into the 1100 Canadian range for a 2060 with 16 gigs of dual channel, 500 gig SSD, NVMe drive. Was nice and quick. Obviously, it's not huge, but very easy to upgrade. The actual computer itself, I'll end up doing a little side video for you guys, is gorgeous. It's a great look. It's got 4 fans, 650 watt hard power supply, which isn't huge, but it's not horrible. 2 RGB fans inside. They have their own software, very similar to a lot of the other guys, where you can customize some things. We'll check that out. It's really tough to beat. Honestly, super solid, super clean deal. I think this is the way to look. If you're a Canadian here, I don't know about stateside, I'm guessing you guys are pretty solid as well, but if you're a Canadian, to be able to get a deal like this, for us, is absolutely unheard of. To not have to worry about duty or customs, to get quick shipping, it's unbelievable. So honestly, take a look at Lenovo. That's the way to go. The box came super fast, clean, couple little nicks and whatnot in it. Let's pop this up for you so you guys can see. Couple little nicks, nothing wrong, not a single scratch on the computer. Here's that base keyboard for you guys to check out. So nothing super, little click style there. Nothing super huge to write home about, but you know, could be worse. All the keys are in line, everything's good, feels hardy. This was a big one. If you go watch that Linus Tech Tips video, the internal supports are so important, and some of the companies skimp out so hard. You got cardboard folded foam and crap like that. This thing is so thick and so dense, nothing is going to happen. You can even see where some of the components have pushed in, but they don't come anywhere near the edge. That's the key. So you'll see in that Linus video that some of this stuff is so thin that the components and thumb screws push out to like here, and then if you get a bump, it's denting or chipping at your case. Nice, thick, sturdy shipping material, top and bottom. It didn't have the internal for the video card. Didn't have the internal for that, unfortunately. Like you'll see in some of that video, there's inserts for the foam to hold it from jostling, but I didn't have any issues with it. There's not a single scratch on it, and it's a matte black, so you would see it a mile away. There's no dents. The thing is absolutely unbelievable for what you get for the money. I can't suggest it enough to make sure you're watching. These things have been loading back on their website every few days. You'll see it pop back up. This one seems to be sticking around, the $1219.99, which is hilarious because the $1359 one after discount is only a 1660 Super. And then it does have a little bit bigger HDD, but who cares? And then it's got a 256 gig SSD, and then you get the little bit better processor with the i7-10700. But I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like for $1219, stack on the Rakuten, it's absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to toss a video up too. I'm going to do a little walk around of it for you. As far as things go with the cons, I'm going to do that in the walk around video, which I'm going to add on to the end of this one, because honestly, it's mostly pros. There is a couple cons that you'll definitely see when I show you the video, but for the money, if you're a Canadian or at stateside, take a look. But especially if you're a Canadian, you gotta get a look at the Lenovo. I never would have considered it in my life if my buddy hadn't mentioned it. Watch for it. The coupons are always stacked up. You can stack it with Rakuten and get a crazy deal in the 1100 range, free shipping, no duty, no customs. It's impossible to go wrong with it. So check it out, the Lenovo. You'll notice there's no sponsorship link below. There's no, hey, you should get this. Hey, this is why I reviewed this better. I paid for this out of my own pocket. I did a ton of research on it, and this is what I ended up with. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to toss them down below. Thank you so much. I know I'm super long-winded. It's just how I am. I'll get the walk-around video up attached to this one for you so you can see how the actual PC looks itself. It's absolutely stunning.